Greetings everybody, it is December and that means only one thing on the internet. Top 5 or top 10 or top 20 lists of whatever it is they like to do. So in our case, we're going to go back and name our top 5 movies of 2014. Now remember, this is a personal top 5 list. That means it is my choice and my choice alone. You may completely disagree with anything I say, or you may agree completely. It is all subject to bias for every person. So with that out of the way, even though arguments will probably still happen anyway, here we go, our top 5 movies of 2014. At number 5, we have The Book of Life, a movie that is entirely based on the national Mexican holiday of Dia de los Muertos. And it is extremely colorful, it is extremely joyful, it takes a very deep look at how we look at, well, basically death around the world, and how it is very different down here in Mexico. Since the holiday is not anything even similar to Halloween, where it's about being spooky and scary and everything. Rather, the holiday is more of a celebration of those that have passed away and remembering them for how they were and everything. And the movie completely portrays that in every aspect of, well, every scene right from the beginning. And even near the end, you understand what the holiday is entirely about, and you understand what the message was. And you had fun watching it because all the characters are very interesting and very fun to watch. Although, granted, the secondary characters are a lot more interesting than the main ones, but that is usually how things happen in most movies. Now, on to number 4. At number 4, we have Big Hero 6, Disney's true jump into the superhero genre, because anything done by Marvel is really Disney. But when this movie was first announced, everybody was very interesting, very skeptical, because it is based on an entire comic book series, even though if it is a little unknown. But suddenly, Disney decides to pick it up and make a movie out of it, and then we see character designs come out all over the internet, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's going to be awesome, and it really was. Well, it wasn't awesome, it was good. The character designs were definitely right on the mark. A lot of them were extremely fun. Honey Lemon, particularly to my taste, was very entertaining. Let's see, then we have Hero, who was the protagonist, that was relatively down to earth, because let's admit it, a 14-year-old boy genius isn't exactly normal. And all his friends and his brother and his family all have a certain resonance with everybody who watches them. Like, we can see a little bit of all of them inside of us, as I said in my little review. Now, this wasn't higher up on my list because I went to watch it, and I did enjoy it a lot, but it didn't fill me with excitement or joy as some of the other movies down the list. Speaking of, here we go. At number 3, we have Guardians of the Galaxy, probably the most, what to call, blockbuster-ish movie we got this year, but to my taste, still not number 1. When it was first announced, a lot of people were wondering who the hell the Guardians of the Galaxy was, who are they, what it is they do. But because it is a Marvel movie, like, pretty much everybody went to go see it. And after going to see it, suddenly everybody knew who Rocket was, everybody knew who Groot was, obviously. And suddenly, Guardians of the Galaxy comic book sales spike up in, like, what, the last 10 years? They sold more in the last 3 months or something? But anyway, the movie itself is a great space adventure with at least a very interesting protagonist who is very funny, very well played out, very human, even though he's only half human, spoilers. And the movie was filled with a lot of good action, a lot of good character development for some of the characters at least. And as always, it ties in with the rest of Marvel's movieverse, which is going on a head-on collision with the Infinity Wars. Yeah, no, the Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War saga, somewhere around 2017, I believe. But anyway, it was a very good movie and definitely worth watching at least once. Whether you want to buy it or not is completely up to you. But now we are continuing down our list. At number 2, we have a movie with very polar opposite opinions all over the internet, depending on who you ask. Some people love it, some people hate it. But for me, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was my absolutely second favorite movie of this year. Mostly because I personally enjoyed watching it. Well, most all of it. I didn't go there expecting a good movie. I expected there to see... I just went to see the Turtles themselves, not the movie as a whole. And in that respect, I got exactly what I wanted. I saw them be themselves. I saw how they bond or react or play around with each other. I saw them kick a lot of ass, which was definitely awesome. We got a lot of action scene, as is per Michael Bay. And overall, I enjoyed everything I saw of the Turtles. The movie itself was a little over dragged out because it focuses on April for some reason, even though nobody goes there to watch her. And it changes the origin around very, very, very much. A lot of people, pretty much everyone is unanimous in that your origin story is garbage. But it's there, it's out of the way, let's forget about it, and let's just get more movies with more turtles and less humans. Because that's really what we want to see in those movies. At number 1, we have the king of the big screen, without a doubt, Godzilla. At the end of last year, when I saw the poster on the internet, I was absolutely excited because it had been a very long time since I had seen anything related to Godzilla. Now, I'm not a die-hard fan about him, but I did enjoy, although many people didn't, the American version from 2000-ish, I believe? Not like the giant iguana thing in New York. I had a little enjoyment out of that, but this absolutely felt like a Godzilla movie, and I haven't even seen a real Godzilla movie. That's the only one I've seen, but I was at the edge of my seat the entire movie, waiting for him to appear, seeing what he was going to do, and when he did show up, I was like, completely awestruck. And during the final fight, it was absolutely worth it. The graphics were awesome. He had absolute presence over the screen whenever he appeared. You could actually, nobody in the entire movie theater was talking at the time, which is very rare because you always have those people that are either commenting or complaining or whatever, but everybody was quiet during the showing. So that is how good the movie was. Now, granted, the movie is about humans, which is very boring, but at least it's a little bit less interesting, a little bit credible, if you can use that word in a fantasy setting like that one. But Godzilla himself was absolutely worth going to the movie theaters to see, and that final scene where he finally gets up and kicks ass, absolutely worth slogging through the rest of the movie for. So yes, that is my number 1 movie of this year. And now, there are 3 movies that did not make it onto my top 5 list because you have to cut the line somewhere. First, X-Men Days of Future Past. It was a good movie. It was actually the best X-Men movie in a long time because it completely got rid of the original 3, which is awesome. They no longer exist in the universe, and they can completely come through and make brand new movies, do them better. And yeah, that's pretty much why, although it was really Wolverine 5-6 or whatever. Then we also have Maleficent, which was okay, although a little over-dramatized, and I feel would have been a lot better had it not been named Maleficent, because then it is not tied to the original Sleeping Beauty from Disney, which has a terrific villain, and suddenly that villain is gone, and we are given a completely different story. Transformers 4 Age of Extinction, it was visually basically another Transformers movie, let's be honest, although it is interesting to see how basically the Michael Bay's Transformers universe completely ended with basically Optimus Prime rising to the heavens to go fix everything by himself. It's completely out on the left side, but that's Michael Bay for you. Then we have, let's see, what else do we have here? Hercules I feel could have been a lot better entertaining, but just when you want Hollywood to go Hollywood on a movie, it doesn't, so that was a little disappointing. And finally, Saint Seiya, Legend of Sanctuary. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It wasn't a great movie. It was very enjoyable, but it's not a great movie. And it didn't make to my top 5 because precisely that. I enjoyed it a lot. The characters were great. A lot of the scenes were great. It had a great balance and a little comic relief thrown in there for good measure. But it did go a little over the top near the end of the movie. And that's really a little bit of a dissonance. It creates a little dissonance between what we expect, which was it was going on perfectly up until the end, and suddenly the end goes all extreme, and suddenly what? How is this going on? But yeah, those are 4 or 5 movies that didn't make my list, but that are probably worth watching at least once, at least on a Sunday afternoon when you've got nothing else to do. So yeah, those were my top 5 movies of 2014. If you completely disagree with my list, because you obviously will, you can leave the comments down below or in the blog or wherever you want to leave them. And I will see you next time.